Good morning, everyone. My name is Ariane Cornell, and on behalf of everybody at Blue Origin, I'm thrilled to welcome you to our second human flight. 4 astronauts will launch to space and back on board our New Shepard rocket, which has safely flown 17 successful consecutive missions. Now, earlier this morning, our astronauts arrived to the Astronaut Training Center. We've got a little bit of footage of that. Let's check it out. So you see they're getting out of those Rivians. Very cool cars, those Rivians. They're almost like rocket ships themselves. And everybody in good spirits this morning, waving. They got that astronaut energy. They are ready to go to space and back, indeed. And there they go inside the Astronaut Training Center. That's where they've spent the last couple of days learning from our crew member 7, Sarah Knights. All right, that's some good stuff. We've got 4 incredible individuals on the rocket today, all of them inspiring in their own ways, and all of them focused on inspiring others. As noted, today we are flying customers Chris Boshuizen and Glen de Vries, Blue Origin's Vice President of Mission and Flight Operations, Audrey Powers, and of course, cultural icon William Shatner.
Well, of course. And with regards to Mr. Shatner, many of us pursued the space industry, myself included, and joined Blue Origin because of early inspiration from watching shows like Star Trek. So this is a pinch me moment for all of us to see Captain James Tiberius Kirk go to space. Really? And maybe for today, we'll need to rename our capsule from the RSS First Step to the RSS Enterprise, but just for today.
Now, every mission on this journey is important, and every mission will be unique. So far, 593 people have gone to space up to this moment, but today, we will send numbers 594, 595, 596, and 597 to space and back. And next year, we're expecting several missions more. Every mission with humans on board is an incredibly inspiring shared experience. For example, today, we know Star Trek fans around the world are rejoicing that their beloved Captain Kirk is really going to space. And Audrey Powers, she represents all of us here at Blue Origin and everybody who works in the space industry that shares this collective dream of one day going to space. Jackie, we were just talking about safety here at Blue, and to remind people, we're not in a test program anymore. We spent 5 years, over 5 years in fact, testing, and now we're fully into customer flight operations, and safety has never mattered more. For a greater and even better perspective on safety, a couple days ago, I had the opportunity to sit down with Blue Origin's Senior Director of New Shepard Safety and Mission Assurance, Andrew Lake. Let's hear it from him. Andrew, you have such an important role at Blue Origin. So at Blue, when we say safety is a top priority, what does that mean?
Yeah, it's interesting, this idea of safety as a priority. And there are a lot of ways to think about this, but I see safety more as a core value that you build a business around. And a business like what we were thinking about for New Shepard and what Blue's doing in general is animated around this idea of safe and reliable systems.
So New Shepard went through this extensive test program, right? And we flew for, what, 5-6 years before we put people on board. How do you know that you're done?
In a certain sense,
instilling safety into both the vehicle and the how it operates.
Yeah, there are a couple of ways you kind of go about it. The first thing you have to do is you have to set goals, safety performance goals, safety performance thresholds, to help you understand when you've met those thresholds. But in any program, you're never really done. You always want to look for opportunities to improve the system, both operationally, both for safety, both for reliability as well. And so we always have to maintain a humility that comes with flying rockets with these kinds of energies involved. And so we, and the ops team that we're about to go fly this mission, I've never seen a team more diligent, more patient, and the constant awareness and the vigilance required to say, raise issues and make sure they're addressed before we decide that it's time to fly people.
It's taken a team of people to get to this point, to be flying people on New Shepard. What would you say to this team?
I'm humbled to work with this team. It would be lying to say that 3 people who happen to have voted as part of a much larger tech for human flight certification are the people who decided that we're safe enough. Hundreds of people have put their blood, sweat, and tears into this program. Each of them just immensely individually focused on not just the safety of the system, but the reliability of the system. And then there is the work that our team does to kind of partner with them to help them achieve these goals. I am immensely grateful for the opportunity to work with them, and I'm humbled to have an opportunity to kind of lead the safety mission assurance efforts with this team.
Well, tell me this. Would you fly on New Shepard?
I would, and let me just say this.
Yeah.
There are a lot of people at Blue that would be excited to fly New Shepard, and I'm happy to count myself as one of them. It's a fantastic system. It's a very robust system. And yeah, if I ever had the opportunity to fly, I'll wink a little bit at the folks making these decisions. I would be super excited.
Fantastic. Well, I hope we get to go one day.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Andrew.
Thank you.
Why don't we meet the crew that's going to space in just 1 hour? Former NASA engineer and the founder of satellite company Planet Labs, Chris Boshuizen, is a flying customer today, and he'll be the very first full Australian citizen to go to space. Chris is in seat number 4. Another customer flying today is Glen de Vries. He's the co-founder of medical company Metadata. And fun fact, there's actually a website called Is Glen de Vries in Space right now? And over the last couple of days, or until today, the answer was no. But today, it says yes. That's super cool. Glen is in seat number 6.
And in seat number 1 on the capsule today, someone very near and dear to Ariane and I's hearts and everyone at Team Blue is Audrey Powers, Blue Origin's Vice President of Mission and Flight Operations. She is truly one of the space industry's shining stars, and we're absolutely thrilled that she's on today's flight. And by the way, Audrey's a pilot, but today she's going to get a little bit of an upgrade to astronaut. So that's also great.
That's a mean upgrade.
And last but most certainly not least, here's the great William Shatner. He's been in the zeitgeist for over 50 years and is flying to space today in seat number 3. Mr. Shatner is 90 years old, which, having met him, I just can't believe. And as such, he'll become the oldest person ever to go to space.
Who's going to tell us when we're... Oh, we're on. Okay, fantastic. All right, astronauts, I have one last special thing for you. This is a challenge coin that I have right here. Challenge coins have a long history, but classically they're awarded to show that you belong and that you've achieved something of particular interest, right? This is only awarded by crew member 7 to astronauts who have passed training and are just about to fly on New Shepard. All of you have passed with beautiful colors over the last couple of days, and it's my very great honor to present this to you for your flight today. Each of you are just helping us take that step on the road to space and to enable a future where we have millions of people living and working in space to benefit Earth. And you are one of these very few very first explorers and adventurers taking that path with us. So I'm giving this to you today so you can put it in your flight suit pocket, take it with you on your historic journey as you go up. And with this, you are go for launch on New Shepard. All right? Congratulations, Chris.
Thank you.
Wow. Congratulations, Glen.
Thank you.
Congratulations, Audrey.
Can you read that, Glenn?
Congratulations, Bill.
Thank you. Maybe if you can hold it in the room.
All right. Heads we go, tails we go. That's beautiful.
I do understand that our astronauts have made it into the Rivians. There they are. And look who their chauffeur is. None other than Jeff Bezos, also in his flight suit. Jackie, this makes me a little bit concerned. You had a hypothesis that Jeff might just stay on the rocket. That's not the plan for today, just to be very clear.
He's ready, though, if that opportunity arises.
And he's, you know, again, from having flown just a couple of months ago on our first human flight, of course, with his brother Mark, with Wally Funk, national treasure, Wally Funk, as well as our first astronaut customer, Oliver Damon. You know, he's got some important knowledge to impart upon our next crew here. Look, they're having a good conversation in there. In the front right, there's Chris.
Smiles and waves.
Smiles
That's what we
and
like to
waves.
see. And there they go, Chris Boshuizen, Glen de Vries, Audrey Powers, and Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner, have just started their journey to the launch pad, into the crew capsule, and off to space. You can just, I have goosebumps. I can feel their anticipation looking at the,
This is awesome.
words
Look,
of encouragement from Team Blue along the way.
absolutely, there to get the cheers and the hoots and the hollers from Team Blue. Once they pass, they're going to drive about another couple hundred yards out to towards in front of the mission control facility there. Get a couple more words of encouragement. That there, in fact, is their friends and family that have flown down here to Texas to watch them go to space and back. And here they come. They are approaching our mission control center. And just on the right there, you can see what we call the barn. That is the facility where we keep our rockets. Of course, we've got the rocket out there on the pad, as well as the second rocket that flew just a couple of weeks ago. That one is dedicated to payload flights.
It's really amazing to see all the demand we've seen for those payload flights to the point where we're able to have a full separate booster specifically dedicated to doing this important research and science.
And you know, Jackie, one day we are going to combine those payloads and the astronauts to do some tended payload flights. Just a wonderful opportunity for many scientists and engineers around the world who want to develop their technology. Maybe they don't need to go to orbital space. They just need a couple minutes of beautiful, clean micro-Gs, and that's what they get with these flights on New Shepard. Now you see the two vehicles have taken a left, and they are on their road to space. Jackie, I can tell you from having done the astronaut training just a couple of months ago, so I got to do everything minus get inside of a rocket that was up on the launch tower. But we did all of this because we had to coordinate it, of course. And the drive out there, there's this interesting mix of adrenaline because you're basically harnessing and containing your own adrenaline, and you're trying to kind of level it out. But it's also very peaceful, right? It is this 2-mile road that goes out to the launch pad, out to the rocket, and you're there with your thoughts. You know, these 4 astronauts have been thinking about going to space for a long, long time, and this moment is here.
I have to know what was on the playlist when you drove down the road to space. I know that mine would have an excessive amount of Pitbull. I don't know if that's a little too hype for this experience, but hopefully they're listening to some Rocket Man or something.
Yeah, exactly. Rocket Man was definitely on the playlist as we head out there. Now, Jackie, once they head out the road to space, there is the ring road that goes around the launch pad. They are going to go to the north end of the ring road, and they're going to stop and take a photo, take a couple of beautiful photos right before they get back in the Rivians, head back to the base of the launch tower, where they will ascend the tower and stop in the safety shelter first.
Yeah, and you can see a good view of that safety shelter right now. That's that white box on top of the launch tower.
You can tell that pensive look. They're all taking in the moment as they should. I can only imagine being in that.
I see all smiles from Astronaut Powers, so that's very exciting. Have a good view of that ring road now, which is that circular ring surrounding the launch pad, as Ariane mentioned.
There you go. They're checking it out. Now, from the training to cruising in your Rivians to the launch to the landing, this really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. If you guys are watching out there and you want to be one of those astronauts on the way to space, really encourage you, visit blueorigin.com and click on Fly to Space. We'd love to see you on that rocket. And let's be honest, frankly, we'd love to be on that rocket with you.
If you could put in your note that you specifically want to fly with Jackie and Ariane, maybe we'll see what can be done there. The astronauts are getting out of their Rivian, getting those smiles ready for that ring road crew photo. And Ariane, like you've mentioned multiple times, New Shepard is alive at this point. That booster is just waiting for its crew and it's ready to go. On the right of this shot, you do see Sarah Knights, our crew member 7. She's going to accompany the crew up to the tower and make sure they're situated in the capsule in just a little bit here.
That is a good-looking crew. And when I say, it comes from all of us, there you see a shot there just a moment ago of mission control. They are, focused, and it's a very disciplined team that has been trained over months and years in the case of many of our team members there.
Right, and they're led today by Nick Patrick, flight director, NASA astronaut. They're in very good hands. And here we have the crew. They're entering the shelter just to await their ingress across the bridge, then the gantry, and of course into their seats in the crew capsule. Each of our astronauts is looking great and ready to fly today in those Blue Origin flight suits.
Fantastic. So you see Sarah Knights at the bottom of your screen, or crew member 7. She, in just a moment here, is going to go, she's going to leave the shelter. She's going to go out across the bridge, just check in with the tower crew, make sure that we're all ready to go. And then she's going to come back to the shelter and take the astronauts out to the rocket.
And once the astronauts head out of the shelter, you will see them ring a fun ceremonial bell. So that'll come up later if you're wondering what they're doing at that point. It's a little tradition that we started at Blue. Make some noise before you get in your crew capsule.
That's right. That's right. Let everybody up in space know that you're coming. They can't hear you up there. Just as a reminder. And here they go. There's Glen de Vries, Chris Boshuizen, William Shatner, and Audrey Powers.
And today's special crew member 8, Jeff Bezos, and crew member 7, Sarah Knights. There we have our awesome tower crew ready to welcome them.
There you see Audrey giving some hugs to the tower crew. She is, of course, our vice president of mission ops for New Shepard, so of course she knows the whole team very intimately.
A lot of the team today are launching their boss to space. First Jeff, now Audrey. And there goes Glen.
Into the hatch he goes. All of this is very carefully coordinated. You practice this many times during the rehearsal. You basically you go in, walk in, you kind of walk clockwise around the escape motor, which is in the center of the capsule, and take your seat. That, of course, then you harness in. You have practiced this many times during the training, and then you'll have crew member 7, Sarah Knights, in this case, who's going to come around, make sure you're properly harnessed in, and make sure things are nice and tight.
Yeah, and Ariane, I know you've mentioned me before, you board from the highest seat number first, and then the seat number 1 is the last to board, which is, of course, Audrey Powers today.
And there goes William Shatner. One last photo op before he enters the capsule.
What a surreal moment. Captain James Tiberius Kirk is boarding our Blue Origin spaceship. Ariane, I know you've discussed your astronaut training extensively. Now, obviously, buckling the seatbelt is a very important part, and they've practiced this at this point, what, hundreds of times?
I don't know about hundreds, but certainly dozens and dozens of times. You can do this, as I've said before, upside down, inside out, upward, backwards, and forwards. And by the way, it's important that you can do so. This is probably the easiest moment. A little bit more complex is, of course, when you're getting back in your seat after you've been up there at 0G to get the harness, to get into the harness, and then, of course, buckle it properly. But again, under the guide of Sarah Knights, they know how to do this. I was actually asking them earlier, who is the fastest at it, and they said, of course, Audrey Powers was, because she's done this even more than they have, so she had kind of a leg up on them. There is Chris Boshuizen in the window on the left, and there goes Sarah Knights, our crew member 7, into the capsule to do last-minute harness and safety checks on the astronaut. There is Audrey on the left.
Once crew member 7 is, of course, comfortable that all of our astronauts look at their smiling faces from those big, beautiful windows. Once Sarah makes sure all of our astronauts are ready to fly today and they close that hatch, of course, we'll turn it over at that point to crew member 7's other half, Kevin Sprague, who'll be the voice from above, the capsule communicator.
Blue Control has first step loud and clear.
And there you heard some initial communications between Capcom and the capsule. There goes Sarah Knights, making sure the harness is nice and tight. We see just in the corner there, the hands of Glen de Vries. Quick
Giving
thumbs up.
2 big thumbs ups, yes.
I had the chance to chat with him just a little bit the other night, and it was wonderful. I said, Glenn, what do you think you're going to think about once you're harnessed in? And he said, as much as I've been dreaming about going to space since I was a little kid, until you were up on top of that rocket, harnessed in, he's like, there's only so much mental preview of it that you can actually get. He said, he almost just pulled a blank. He said, I don't know, but I cannot wait for that moment. Glenn, that moment has arrived. You and your 3 co-crewmates are about to go to space and back. I hope you are taking every mental note there is.
And I loved one thing from that interview that Chris and Glenn, our customers, both actually said when they told their family and friends that they're going to go to space on New Shepard. There was pretty much a universal, well, finally.
It's about time.
It's about time. You've been talking about this pretty much since birth, so we're really happy to hear that this day is finally here for Chris and Glenn, and of course, Audrey and Captain Kirk.
Glenn even said, he's like, you know what? I haven't heard from a couple of friends since kindergarten, and they've reached out to me and they said, yeah, you were talking about this when you were 5. Can you imagine?
I think Glenn mentioned one of his special guests is his middle school classmate who had to be here to see this day finally happen.
Flight NS-18. Looking for a comm check. Astronaut Powers, how do you read?
Blue Control, Astronaut Powers, I've got you loud and clear to the space speaker.
Astronaut Lemley, how do you read?
Astronaut Lemley, how do you read? Lemley, A-OK.
Astronaut Crispy, how do you read?
Astronaut Crispy, how do you read?
Astronaut Crispy, read you loud and clear. Ready for launch.
Astronaut de Vries, how do you read?
Astronaut de Vries, how do you read?
Read loud and clear.
All right, Blue Control, I've got all astronauts loud and clear. We are at T-minus 19 minutes and counting. I will keep you updated on the count as we go. For now, sit back and relax. You're going to see Jeff in just a moment.
And there is Jeff Bezos closing the hatch.
Jeff, of course, now an experienced space traveler himself.
I've got a surprise for you today. We asked our NS-16 crew to send messages to you before your flight. So I'm going to read those to you right now. New Shepard astronaut Oliver Damon says, "Dear NS-18 travelers, you have probably been playing this moment over and over in thoughts and also quite often in real life in the case of Mr. Shatner. But now the moment is there, the moment you're really going to space, and I can assure you that it will be better than your best imagination. No day passes by that we don't look back on this journey without having a smile from ear to ear. Have a safe flight and enjoy. Greetings from your youngest predecessor, Oliver Damon."
Oliver Damon from the last flight.
Oh. You got the kid?
The young guy, yep.
Astronaut, New Shepard astronaut Wally Funk says, "I hope this flight will be the most fantastic experience of your life as it was mine. Take time to enjoy every aspect of this journey, from liftoff to touchdown. Jeff has done a magnificent job of ensuring the smoothest, most memorable ride, and Kevin and Sarah are top-notch instructors. Becoming part of the Blue Origin family is an honor like none other I have received. Together, let's cross new boundaries and set new records. I will be watching your liftoff with great enthusiasm and sending my best wishes. Godspeed, Audrey, Bill, Glenn, and Chris. Much love, Wally." New Shepard astronaut Demo, whose real name is Mark Bezos, has this to say: "You lucky bastards. It was only 10 weeks ago that I was sitting where you are, watching the countdown clock, full of anticipation and excitement, eager to feel the rumble of liftoff and the majesty of weightlessness. The depth of my desire to fly again is hard to express, so allow me to quote from the classic of the great American songbook, Mr. Spaceman, with lyrics by William Shatner. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along? I won't do anything wrong. Hey, Mr. Spaceman, won't you please take me along for a ride? Godspeed, New Shepard. I can't wait to hear your stories. Mark."
Why don't we take a moment, Jackie, and talk through the flight profile for today's launch?
That'd be great. So as you can see here in the flight profile, the New Shepard will lift off from Launch Site 1 here outside of Van Horn, Texas. Once New Shepard has lifted off, it'll approach that Karman Line, the 100-kilometer internationally recognized line of space. And at that point, our capsule with our crew will separate from that booster, and the capsule will continue on over that Karman Line into space. The capsule at this point full of crew who are unbuckled, floating around and getting their 3 to 4 minutes of microgravity. While they're having a great time, hopefully doing backflips, not forgetting to look out that window, the booster is headed back down to Earth. So those wedge fins at the top of the booster will be the first to deploy on its way back. And then as the booster continues down, we will put out those drag brakes. The booster is coming down hot at this point, very fast. Those drag brakes will significantly slow it down. As we approach the landing pad, that BE-3 engine will relight. It will hover, which we often are asked if that's CGI. It is real, that hover. And then the booster will softly touch down in the West Texas desert. The capsule, meanwhile, on its way back to Earth. The first thing to happen here is those drogue parachutes will deploy, slowing down that capsule, followed by the beautiful big main parachutes. And then just before that soft touchdown, we do fire some retro thrusters. They do kick up a bit of dirt out in West Texas, but that does ensure a very soft touchdown of about 1 to 2 miles per hour for our crew out there.
It really is a soft landing back down here in the West Texas desert.
Channel 1 and UHF for the go pull for terminal count and launch. Capsule.
Go.
Booster.
Go.
Ground.
Go.
Safety.
Go.
Capcom.
Go.
Engineering.
Go.
This is the flight director on Channel 1 and UHF voice. Booster commence the terminal count.
Copy flight.
I guess that's it, huh? We're going. Yeah, the Bill.
As you heard it, we are go for launch, go for second human flight. I am so excited for this crew. Now, earlier this week, I sat with them to discuss rockets and space and the future. Let's get to know our crew a little bit better. All right, guys, you're just a couple of days at this point from going to space. Anybody excited?
Yes. A little bit.
Something, just a little bit?
You are.
I am excited for you guys. I'm Glenn and Chris in particular. You have bought these tickets to go to space. Why?
Yeah, the ticket is for the view. The ticket is to really get that understanding of what it's like to see Earth from that perspective and feel like we're part of this tiny little planet and this little civilization that frankly has a lot of work to do to make Earth work better, to make it more sustainable. And I want to carry that feeling that we're going to get from that view back down with me and hopefully turn that into making the world a better place. And frankly, I think being able to do that is something that can not just be great for those of us who have the privilege of being able to do this now, but will fuel this industry that will allow us to have as many people as possible on the planet see that, and everybody benefit from the things that are going to come out of space and space technology.
Yeah, I mean, this is, for me, for personally a lifelong dream, but I realized that, space is opening up for everyone. This is the beginning of a new era, right? The first 60 years of space exploration were the domain of governments. You had to be a space superpower to send highly trained astronauts into space. And, Glenn and I are just regular citizens flying up. It's amazing that this is happening. I think in about 60 years, we'll look back at this year and go, this is the year the doors finally open for the human race to go to space.
Fantastic. And Audrey, we both have talked about going to space for such a long time. What do you want to do with this experience?
Well,
to inspire
I
others?
can't wait to get back to everybody at Blue and have them pepper me with questions. The folks who have designed this vehicle and tested this vehicle and just haven't asked me everything they want to know about what it's like when you're up there. And my nieces are coming to watch this, and they're teenagers, young kids now, and they're just absolutely mesmerized by this kind of stuff. My friends' kids are all, their Girl Scout troops are calling, and so I can't wait to talk to all them.
Fabulous. And Bill, we'll end with you. You have inspired so many for so many generations. For the kids and the young people that are going to be watching this launch and who might want to be space explorers one day, do you have any words for them?
Well, seriously, the truth of the matter is this whole Blue Origin thing is based on the idea of building industry above the Earth and taking that pollution out of this planet, out of the immediate planet and putting it up there. that's got to be the future of the Earth, and the Earth is dependent on that and the youth. So the two work hand in hand, and so it's very important that the young people of today know that that up there is the future, and to work towards that for the improvement of the Earth.
Fabulous. Well, thank you all for coming on this journey with us as Blue Origin, but thank you for inspiring others, and also as we go forward coming out of this, continuing this inspiration. So thanks, guys. Good luck. Godspeed. So what we're going to see here shortly, the rocket is going to go through what we call the bit checks, the built-in tests. At the base of the rocket, you see 3 of the 4 fins down there. Those are the aft fins. Those are going to move back and forth. We want to make sure that they've got full freedom of movement. Also, what you're going to see at the base of the rocket, you can kind of see, it's a little hard in this image, you're going to see the engine nozzle gimbal. The engine moves back and forth. It also helps with the directional capability of the rocket on ascent, but also especially on descent as it comes in to land on the landing pad just 2 miles north of where it's taken off from. And then, of course, you've seen throughout the morning the rocket venting. It's full of propellant at this point, but we want to make sure that we keep the propellant tanks within bounds, of course, of pressure and temperature. This morning, a little bit easier to do that versus our last flight, which was in the middle of July. It was warmer. It's actually a nice balmy morning here down in West Texas. But again, we've got our team who have their eyes on their computer screens, making sure that everything is within bounds. And there goes the gantry retracting at T-minus 2 minutes. Let's listen in. There go the aft fin checks at the base of the rocket. Our astronauts can feel that. They are sitting at the top of a 60-foot rocket, about 20 meters tall. T-minus 1 minute. And there you can just see slightly there the gimbaling engine at the base of the rocket. All right, everybody. Chris Boshuizen, Glen de Vries, Audrey Powers, and William Shatner are about to go where very few humans have gone before. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to launch this rocket. Godspeed, New Shepard.
Minus 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1.
With the second human spaceflight crew. What a launch. We are on our way to Max Q, the first milestone here on its flight to space. You can follow along, obviously, with the altimeter at the base of the screen, as well as the speedometer. They are gaining speed on their climb to space. We have confirmed max Q. This is when the aerodynamic stresses on the vehicle were at their maximum. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live for New Shepard's second human flight with Audrey Powers, William Shatner, our customers Glen de Vries and Chris Boshuizen on board. They are well on their way to space. So far, a nominal flight, a clean burn on our Blue Engine 3. New Shepard giving them a beautiful flight to space this morning. The rocket is climbing towards an altitude. We're aiming just over the Karman Line, the internationally recognized line of space of 100 kilometers. That is about 328,000 feet. And a gorgeous view down the rocket. And now we've had main engine cut off. The BE-3 engine has shut off. And in just a moment, we're going to separate the capsule from the booster. And at that point, our astronauts will have the opportunity to get out of their harnesses and enjoy the beauties of zero G. Let's wait to listen. And there you can see a clean separation between the capsule and the booster. And there you can see the capsule from the top of the booster. They are continuing their ascent over the Karman Line. You'll know when they hit apogee, when the speed hits 0. And there they are, over 328,000 feet, over 100 kilometers. Welcome to space, the newest astronauts on board our crew capsule. And there they are. They have just about hit their apogee at about 351,000 feet. And while we don't have apogee, I can just imagine, Jackie, they are having the time of their lives. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live from West Texas. So far, a nominal flight for our second human crew. So exciting, Jackie, to have sent Captain Kirk himself, William Shatner, to space. I cannot wait to hear his commentary upon return, as well as our two customers, Chris Boshuizen from Australia, to all the fans tuning in from down under. A big shout out to you guys, as well as Glen de Vries and our very own Audrey Powers. They are coming back home. The booster, of course, is going to beat the capsule back home. It is more aerodynamically shaped, of course, at the base of the capsule. It's kind of a blunt end, so it's less aerodynamic. What we're going to see coming up shortly is at the top of the rocket, we have the ring fin. There's some what we call the pie fins that extend from the ring fin, as well as the drag brakes. The pie fins, the wedge fins, help stabilize the vehicle, kind of like the feathers at the back of an arrow. And then you will also see the drag brakes. And as you mentioned, Jackie, it cuts the velocity dramatically. There you can see the wedge fins are out. Here we see the descent. We are going to expect the BE-3 engine to relight just at about 3,600 feet or about 1,200 meters above ground level. Let's wait for that now. The drag brakes have deployed. And here we come, New Shepard. Touchdown. Welcome back, New Shepard. The 4th flight to space and back for that vehicle provided a beautiful flight to space for our 2nd human crew. Wow, that gets me every time we do this live down here in Texas. The sonic boom is so cool. Drag brakes are folding back in, as have the wedge fins. Just looks like you could fuel her up and go again. What do you think, Jackie?
And even when you know to expect the sonic boom, it still catches you off guard every time.
Talk about a rumble. A beautiful sight of our New Shepard rocket there in the West Texas desert. But of course, the show is not over. The capsule is descending. We are waiting for first the drogue chutes to deploy. Those are very much like the guide parachutes. They will subsequently be followed by the main parachutes that will first reef and then fully inflate. And there go the drogue parachutes. And here come the mains. Whew, what a flight. You can already start to hear the cheers from outside our stage here in West Texas.
I just threw a piece of foxhole up. Actually, there's a lot. Look out your window, Audrey. Oh, yeah, I see it. You know what? I can't see the boost, so where is it? Probably from the cover. It's going to rotate. Where is that? I want to find that pod and take it home. How about that, guys? How about that, guys? That was unlike anything they described. All right, we got less than 1,000 feet. All right, raise. Let's down.
And here comes our crew back into the desert.
Everybody.
Newest astronauts 5, 96, 97, 98, and 99.
That's unlike anything you'll ever feel.
Stand by touchdown. Stand by touchdown.
Stand by touchdown.
And capsule touchdown. Welcome back, the newest astronauts. Audrey Powers, William Shatner, our customers, Glen de Vries and Chris Boshuizen. What a day for you. Welcome back. I cannot wait to talk to them, Jackie, and just get what they experienced up there this morning. What a clean and beautiful flight from the rocket for our astronauts.
What an absolutely stunning flight. And I also loved hearing that audio of them on their way back about how this experience was for them. And I can't wait to hear their stories.
Well, you heard William Shatner say, this is like nothing I've ever experienced before. So coming from a man who in theory has experienced space
who
for
has
decades.
gone warp speed and traveled the entire intergalactic universe. This was like nothing he's ever seen before.
What a day for our astronauts. So now our team is preparing landing safety operations and recovery of our astronauts from the crew capsule. We'll be on the ground at the landing site to follow the action in just a bit, maybe even talk to the world's newest astronauts. Some absolutely breathtaking stuff. And I'll note that you're going to see the recovery team show up very shortly because we actually send them out before the capsule has landed, because through our modeling, we get by now we're very, very good at analyzing where the capsule is going to come down, given where we know.
Very precise on that lane.
Exactly, where the winds are. And so we're going to see the recovery team come out there, and of course they will also be joined by some of their friends and family to watch as they emerge from the capsule. Let's check out these beautiful shots of our 4 astronauts there in the Texas desert after having gone up over the Karman Line and back. And here's some beautiful shots of our 4 astronauts in the capsule awaiting the recovery team. I understand from Capcom that they have had communications with those 4 astronauts, and they have all given the thumbs up that they are doing A-OK after an exhilarating flight to space and back.
Awaiting that recovery team in that champagne shower, which
Yes.
I'm now regretting that we don't have any champagne for ourselves, Ariane. That feels very unfair after this show.
There's some waves from our astronauts there. And there in the foreground, you see the capsule, the background, their ride to space, the New Shepard booster. Again, that booster has flown to space and back 4 times with this flight. And coming to get them is the recovery crew. And Jackie, you can see there, again, beautiful shots of the capsule. The parachutes actually have fallen pretty close to the capsule itself, meaning that there isn't a lot of ground wind out there. We talked about this earlier in the show, and of course we had to delay a day because of the gusty winds that have been out there. But no, today has been a beautiful day for a launch and landing of a rocket, and launch and landing of 4 new astronauts.
I know we were talking to Chris a couple days ago, and he actually flew that USB full of music from around the world to space. As you mentioned, he's a DJ. So of course we have our new astronauts. We have our Club for the Future postcards that have just returned from space. And of course, you know, some of the personal items like this awesome USB full of music. I wish we could be playing some of that right now.
Well, you probably will soon. Actually,
Yes.
you know, as we mentioned, Chris Boshuizen has kind of a side gig as a DJ, DJ Crispy, and he actually released an album on Friday, and I can't wait to see what he does with that music. Some musicians on board too. Of course, William Shatner, everybody knows him as an actor. He also sings. I think that's one of the most beautiful things about what we're doing at Blue Origin. Again, opening the door to more people to go to space. Yes, the scientists, yes, the engineers, but now the artists, poets, singers, DJs, let's just see what they create coming out of this experience. We have said it before, going to space changes you. We've talked about the overview effect, and I can't wait to see how the stories that come out of, and the art that comes out of this. All right, we now have Sarah Knight going around the capsule, getting the thumbs up from each of our astronauts. Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live from West Texas, where we have just completed our second human flight of the New Shepard vehicle. Our crew on board, the great William Shatner, now who has become the oldest person to have ever flown to space at the ripe age of 90 years old, our very own Audrey Powers, as well as our two customers, Glen de Vries and Chris Boshuizen. Our recovery crew is out there and is about to open the hatch. There is our founder, Jeff Bezos, giving the big thumbs up.
This looks like a familiar shot I remember seeing recently.
Yes.
A very happy birthday.
And here come their friends and family.
What's that? Whenever you're ready. You guys ready? Let me know. Let me know when you're ready, guys. Yeah! Woo! Good job, Commander 7. Never gets old, does it? The real question is, how'd you have it do a capsule?
Yeah,
We'll
that
have to
is
listen
the
to
real
tapes to
question.
find that out. I don't know. My capsule
We'll have
is
to
perfect.
see. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. That's right.
Up on the boom, guys.
Again, thank you, everybody, for joining us live from West Texas at our launch site 1. Our second human space flight crew has gone to space and back up over the Karman Line, just over 351,000 feet. We're awaiting Jeff Bezos, who is now opening the hatch.
Yes! Hello, astronauts. Look at the bird! Come on up here, guys.
There's Audrey Powers, a big hug from her sister.
Captain Kirk himself, the great William Shatner.
Our customer, Chris Boshuizen, the first full Australian citizen to go to space and back. And Glen de Vries. Some big hugs from their loved ones.
In a way, it's indescribable. In a way, it's indescribable.
That's what I thought. You have to work on it. It's so hard to describe.
You have to work on it because not only is it different than what you thought, it happens so quickly. You know what the impression I had that I never expected to have is you're shooting up
Oh my God.
Give
and
me
this
a
new
champagne
sky.
bottle. Come here. I want one. I want to hear this. Here. You want a little of this? Okay.
The champagne showers have begun. Smiles all around. William Shatner taking in the moment clearly.
What you have done. If everybody in the world needs to do this. Everybody in the world needs to see the, oh my God. So it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. I mean, you know, the little things of weightlessness. But to see the blue cover go whoop by, and now you're staring into blackness. That's the thing. The covering of blue, this sheet, this blanket, this comforter of blue that we have around us. We think, oh, that's blue sky. And then suddenly you shoot through it all of a sudden, as though you whip off a sheet off you when you're asleep, and you're looking into blackness, into black ugliness. And you look down, and there's the blue down there, and the black up there, and it's just, there is Mother and Earth and comfort, and is there death? I don't know. Is that death? Is that the way death is? Whoop, and it's gone. Jesus. It was so moving to me. This experience has been something unbelievable. You see, yeah, you know, weightless, my stomach went up, and I thought, God, this is so weird. But not as weird as the covering of blue. This is what I never expected. Oh, it's one thing to say, oh, the sky and the thing and the fragile thing. It's all true. But what isn't true, what is unknown until you do it, is there's this pillow, there's this soft blue. Look at the beauty of that color. And it's so thin. And you're through it in an instant. It's what how thick is it? We know.
I mean, the atmosphere.
Is it a mile? 2 miles?
I mean, it depends on how you measure, because it thins out, but maybe 50 miles.
But you're going 2,000 miles an hour. So you're through 50 miles, whatever the mathematics
fast.
are.
Yeah, really
you know,
fast.
it's like a beat, and suddenly you're through the blue. And you're into black. And you're into, you know, it's mysterious and galaxies and things. But what you see is black. And what you see down there is light. And that's the difference. And not to have this, you have done something. I mean, whatever those other guys are doing, what isn't, I don't know about that. What you have given me is the most profound experience I can imagine. I'm so filled with emotion about what just happened. It's extraordinary, extraordinary. I hope I never recover from this. I hope that I can maintain what I feel now. I don't want to lose it. It's so much larger than me and life. And it hasn't got anything to do with the little green planet, the blue orb, it has nothing to do with that. It has to do with the enormity and the quickness and the suddenness of life and death. Oh my God. It's something.
It's so beautiful.
Beautiful, yes, beautiful in its way, but...
No, I mean your words.
Oh, my words.
It's just amazing.
I don't know. I can't even begin to express what I would love to do is to communicate as much as possible the jeopardy, the moment you see how the vulnerability of everything. It's so small. This air, which is keeping us alive, is thinner than your skin. It's a sliver. It's immeasurably small when you think in terms of the universe. It's negligible. This air. Mars doesn't have it.
Right there.
Nothing. I mean, and when you think of way carbon dioxide changed to oxygen, and what is it, 20%? And suddenly that level that sustains our life. It's so thin. To to dirty it, I mean, that's another whole
And you shoot
subject.
through. What you were saying about shooting through it so fast.
So quickly, 50 miles
Then you're just in blackness.
you're in death. The moment
This is life.
This is life, and that's death. And it's in an instant, you go, wow, that's death. That's what I saw.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And wow.
I am overwhelmed. I had no idea. You know, we were talking earlier before going, well, you know, it's going to be different. You go, yeah, it's going to, and you have whatever that phrase is you have, that you have a different view of things. It doesn't begin to explain, to describe what for me, I mean, everybody's going to, but, and this is now the commercial, everybody, it would be so important for everybody to have that experience through one means or another. I mean, maybe you could put it on 3D and wear the goggles and have that experience. I mean, that certainly is a technical possibility. But what you need also, we're lying there and I'm thinking, listen, one delay after another delay, we're lying there, and I think, how do I feel? And I'm thinking, I'm a little jittery here. And when they move the pins, oh, there's something in the engine. They found an anomaly in the engine. They found an anomaly in the engine. We're going to hold a little longer. Oh, you're going to hold a little longer. And I feel this, you know, the stomach, the biome inside. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm thinking I'm a little nervous here. Another delay, I'm a little more nervous. And then the thing starts. By the way, the simulation is, they have to be warned. It's only a simulation. Everything else is much more powerful. Doesn't capture the and besides which, the jeopardy. Bang! This thing hits. You go, well, you know, that wasn't anything like the simulation.
The G-forces.
The G-forces. And just tell me, what's going to happen to me? Am I going to be able to survive the G-forces? You feel that? Am I going to survive it? Yeah. And then I think, good Lord, that, you know, just getting up the bloody gantry was another. Oh my God, what an experience! What? Nothing.
It looked like you had a moment of camaraderie with your.
Oh, we all hugged each other.
And...
You know, you share. It's like being in battle together, really. And there is this bonding of being in battle, but you're also embattled inside yourself. Oh my goodness! Wow, I have had an experience.
We're gonna pin you guys now. Woo!
Okay. All right. No.
Wow.
Remember that conversation we had about it not being expectations?
Thank you again, everybody, for joining us live. Our second New Shepard astronaut crew has made it home. We just heard some wonderful words from William Shatner, Captain Kirk, who finally had the opportunity to go to space. He became the oldest person to have ever flown to space at the age of 90, if you can believe it. He, of course, went up there with our very own Audrey Powers, our two customers, Glen de Vries and Chris Boshuizen. Jackie, you heard what William Shatner was saying. What a moment. Everybody needs to see this. He was commenting on, you know, the fragility of it all, just how thin. You think, oh, here we are, it's all covered in blue. But then when you go in a rocket, go through it, and you see how quickly it turns to black. I mean, he was literally moved to tears by it. And it is, we've talked about it before, rockets with people on board is an emotional experience.
And right now, we're about to see our 4 newest astronauts be pinned with those astronaut wings. So let's check that out.
How was your experience?
It's going to take me a while to be able to describe.
You're going to have to process that.
It was incredible. It was the most incredible thing I've ever.
I have the great honor of pinning this on you. Not many people have been where you have.
On the other hand, if you speak now as this thing is fresh, flooding
like Chris.
Yeah. Totally immersed in.
I have the great honor of penning this on you. Welcome to a very small club.
You did.
Bill, it's my real honor to pin this on you. I'm very excited about your ability to communicate this. It's so important for so many people. Oops, this one bent.
So am I.
Do you have a spare one?
I never wanted to tell
You
him.
have a spare, don't worry.
No, sorry, this is Audrey's.
Oh,
See,
can we get a
that's,
spare one for Bill real quick? Or you think you can unbend that?
I was going to try.
That's all right, guys.
No, we'll get it.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
pretend I didn't.
Wow,
do it.
good job.
Look at her.
Perfect.
Did she have
7.
it?
She did.
Clutch. This is the hardest part of the mission.
All right. Thank
Bill,
you.
you're amazing. You're an amazing person. Thank you. Audrey, you are so deserving of this.
Thank you.
You've worked so hard on this program, and all your life, you've been dreaming of this.
Isn't that true? What a gift.
Sorry, these things are tricky. I can see. I have more sympathy for Jeff Ashby now. Poor guy. He had to do it in front of a big crowd. It's just that the Nomex is very tough.
Oh, that's true.
It's like really fights you.
There we go. I heard it. I heard it.
That's snap.
Congratulations.
Thanks so much.
Okay, guys, we have 4 astronauts before you.
That was absolutely amazing. As Jeff said, we've got 4 astronauts before you. Thank you, everybody, for joining us today for Blue Origin's 2nd human flight. Of course, a special thank you to Chris Boshuizen and Glen, our customers. We look forward to, in the next several years, flying more and more of you customers from around the world. And if you watching at home are interested in flying with us, please go to blueorigin.com and click on Fly to Space. We cannot wait to send you up.